All right, everybody. So listen, this is a valve cover for a 5.0 2013 F150. So the reason why you're seeing this is because I had to change it off my truck, obviously. So I was doing a tune-up, and if you look right here, that bolt just snapped off right in there. So they should come out fairly easily, but this one snapped off in there. I didn't want a loose um, spark coil or coil pack in the underneath the hood. I didn't want a loose one, so I had to change this whole piece, unfortunately, because there's no drilling that little bit out. So I have this here to show you. Let me see if here we go. Focus on it. I can keep it focused. All right, if you look at that, look how the threads have rusted out. Pretty much have fallen off right there in the middle of the screw. See, that there is why these bolts snap. When I apply pressure to them, sorry, my camera's trying to focus. When I apply pressure, this one just snapped off, and that's why. Luckily, I was able to get that one off. So when you replace this part here from the dealer, you're going to see that you don't have to use as many screws as well. So on the new one, I think you use half as many bolts to secure it to the engine block. So when you see it, that's just how Ford has changed the spec. Don't worry about it, you'll be fine. Make sure you use the fresh bolts. So the other thing I want to show everybody here is the bolts that were right here on the bottom. They actually were right here. These are the actual bolts that were on the bottom, closest to the exhaust manifold. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little closer here so you can see. I had to really, this one gave me hell here. This one was all soft, so you can see how soft the metal is there. I had to use a few different kind of bolt extractors to get that one out, but they all were fairly soft and really rusted. I mean, if you took a screwdriver to a couple of these, you could chip the metal. Look at that one. I was lucky to get that one off fairly easily. You could literally carve the metal off of these screws with a screwdriver. So be prepared if you're doing a tune-up to your Ford F-150. You're going to run into some issues with this here. Okay, these bottom screws are going to be a pain in the ass. The top ones and the ones on the side are fine. They'll come out really easy. I believe they're all a 10 millimeter bolt. I had to use two different kinds of extractors, like I said, on this one here to get it out. But this will just come out. If you take all the bolts out, this whole piece will come out. You may have to wedge a pry bar in here just a little bit and create some leverage. Just be careful. I ended up cracking one of the coolant pipes on the top of the engine that run across the top and had to replace that because I slipped and broke it. But just be careful where you're leveraging at so you don't put too much pressure on other parts. Remember, there's a lot of plastic underneath the hood. So this will come up. One more thing you need to remember is on the back side of this thing, there's going to be there's going to be three, or at least one wire that's going to connect here, here, and here. Okay, one wire. So on this one, let me take it out here. If you've never done this before, man, give me a second. Try to screw it out. Didn't realize I screwed it so far in. Okay. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, so when you're doing it, this is gonna be the back side of the engine closest to the firewall. This is like this screw is different because there's going to be a wire that's connected over top of this. This got me for a little while. I couldn't figure out why was this thing not coming out in the corner. You have to pull the wire, which has like a female end that goes over top of this screw here. So you're going to need to pull the wire off there and then pull it out of this hole and pull it out of that hole. Okay. So you're going to pop it off of that and then pull that out of those two. They were a little difficult to pull out because it's an awkward angle, but once you pull those out, this whole piece will just pop out fairly easily. You have to maneuver it out a little bit, but that's how that works. So just FYI, that's a pro tip there. So pop the cord off of this and out of these two holes, and you should be good to go. See, that's one of the good bolts. They all look like that outside of the ones across the bottom. That's probably because of the heat caused by the exhaust. Okay, so if you had this problem, you're doing a tune-up on your truck, and one of these bolts here snapped on you, you can see how bad mine is. This is one I was able to pull out, and it snapped off on you. You're going to have to replace this whole thing. If you try to drill out that little hole, you're going to be unsuccessful. I'm telling you, it is so small. You're going to just drill right through this plastic valve cover. So you're going to drill right through this plastic valve cover. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments below. Sorry I didn't have any video of me installing this, but this really is a fairly simple install, removal and install. It really is really intuitive. Don't be scared. Yes, you're gonna see the rocker arms and other things of your engine, but as long as you don't get any dirt or dust falling in or leaves or whatnot from your engine, you're gonna be fine. Okay, just take your time and pull these screws out. Have a good set of bolt extractors. I end up using a 3/8 inch. Let me see here if I can find it. There we go. I got this one from Advanced Auto Parts. It is a 3/8 inch. It was a little small, it's a little snug, but I hammered it in on this one and then pulled it out. So I just wanted to show you the installed brand new valve cover in the engine. Just a couple of things to note. As you can see, if you look across the bottom, what I was referring to earlier, where there were bolts, Ford has opted to not utilize those spots, using half as many bolts. I did not use the factory bolts when I reinstalled the coil packs. These bolts here are I had some stainless steel machine screws that I utilized. I just matched the thread depth, so that was really easy. I used a couple of washers. That way I won't have that rusting problem again with the galvanized metal that Ford uses straight out the factory. So just a quick note, these two sensors, they just pop right off. You just gotta press in here and pop it off. This is part of the PCV system. This is really easy. This pops off really cool, really fast. And then just remember that to reinstall it, where it's blue, you're just going to twist that with a pair of channel locks and reinstall it into the new one. And that's really about it. This aluminum foil wrapped cable, that is the cable I was referring to earlier. That's connected in 3 spots on the back side of this valve cover closest to the firewall of the vehicle. So that's the cable you're going to have to pull up in the corner and then out of those 2 spots. And this is the coolant pipe I cracked leveraging that thing off. My mistake on that one. But all in all, I believe this part's going to cost you about $115 at the dealership. So if those bolts during your tune-up crack, it's going to cost you $115 to get this part replaced. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments below.